Hello, everyone. It's my 28th birthday. Hooray! And as a birthday gift to myself, I want to upload more videos here. And you might wonder, like, why I even do these Lazy KH videos because they don't get the same viewership as my other projects. But I think my, motivations have changed. Like, I'm not trying to just chase views anymore. I think what I want to do is something that's more impactful in the real world. And okay, here's the main thing I'm thinking. I guess ever since I was around 10 or something, I've been really enjoying creating stuff online and sharing it with the world. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for, personal growth and, uplifting communities and all that. I mean, I'll get into that in a later video. But the point I want to make is that ever since I was around 16, so around junior year of high school, I have felt like there hasn't been an environment or place for like me to feel supported in that journey. And I drew these arrows very like roughly to explain that either I felt, and maybe this sounds like a little complaining, but I'll just like get it out there really quick, that there was too much, I guess I'll say micromanaging, but it's not really managing, but micro mentoring. I don't know what you call it. So either in my life, it's like I have a ton of teachers giving me homework, giving me lessons on how the world works, AP US history, AP government, and these are very important, but there is a sense that like there's no time to do any of the other exploration, and so like the creative passion projects that actually make me happy all went to the wayside. But then when I would drop out of school, like in college when I was 20, because I was like, oh, YouTube's making enough money to live off of, and this college degree just means I don't have enough time to work on videos. I end up moving to, let's say, Los Angeles and not knowing anyone else in the city, and kind of just like it works for a couple months, but then I start to lose motivation, lose like inspiration and direction, and so the other end of the spectrum is just too little guidance, I guess. And I always call this courage the cowardly dog. And house neighborhood. And I know that's like a really weird reference, but it's because in that TV show, Courage's house is just like when they show the outside, it's just a completely barren landscape, and there's just no neighbors to help you out if things go wrong. And yeah, that's just a metaphor, I guess. But anyway, what I was thinking is just that. Okay. So why am I making more Lazy Cage videos if they don't get views? Well, I guess a long term fantasy of mine. I don't even want to call this a dream or a goal because it feels so far in the future. It's kind of embarrassing to even admit that it's something I want to do. But it's to create a place where, let's say you do want to work on creative projects and grow it to the point that it can become your livelihood so that you don't need to get a 9 to 5 and you can like be your own boss. There should still be a place for you to do that with a little bit of guidance, but still like respecting that you are setting your own path. But then if things go awry, you can still like lean back on a kind of a network of friends and colleagues who have been through these issues before, so that you're not just like completely lost and you're on your own. Like let's say when I wanted to like create an LLC, like I had never been to business school. I didn't know what paperwork was. I still really don't, but that happened in 2018 when I was 21. And I'm sure you could say that's early, but that's 10 years into this whole video creation project and 8 years after it was making significant money. And I feel like, if there was a system that had like matched what I had needed at the time, as soon as there was significant money coming in, there should have been an LLC. But it just took 8 years because that's me floundering until like adults in the room finally noticed. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. Anyway, so why am I making Lazy KH videos? Even if they don't get lots of views, I think it's because I realized there's no way in hell I can do this on my own. And here's a phrase that I've been saying to my parents a lot. So sometimes I would tell them my dreams of this sort of environment. I don't know if it's like a campus or a building or something. They would be like, I would say like, oh, this seems so hard. I don't know how to do it. Or like no one's really doing it in exactly the way. Or what they will say is like, oh, Carrie, lots of things seem impossible, but when you first made BFDI, all of us adults thought you were just kids in a bedroom doing your silly projects that wouldn't go anywhere. Kind of like when you like record like iMovie like shitty projects with your friends on your phone when you're in middle school, and you just post them and it's just like so bad they get like 500 views. It's not a big deal. So like, okay, my parents will say like every time you have had a vision and then the adult said like, oh, it's just a kid who doesn't know what he's doing, you end up proving us wrong by somehow making it work anyway. And like Scale of the Universe, you know, went viral, and BFDI has lasted for 15 plus years. And so I guess like they're trying to motivate me, or they're trying to say, you know, you've defied us before, or you've defied the rules before, and you can do it again. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I do have that power. But the phrase I want to say is like, okay, it's really crude, but it's just something I think basically. Okay, the phrase is, how in the ever-loving fuck am I going to do that? Because the things it takes to make something go viral, or even build an online community online, in terms of like physical items you need, it's just a computer and a good internet connection, and like knowledge and the passion to keep learning. And I think that's like very easy for a kid to have. But in terms of building this larger real life space, it's like, oh, you have to rent or own a big plot of land, and you have to worry about like amenities, and maybe like dozens of people will have to work there to maintain the buildings to make sure they don't start rotting, or like that the sewage is working. And maybe you need outreach, and you need like conflict resolution people, and you need administrative people. And I'm just like, that I do not want to reinvent society or like build a civilization, especially given how chaotic life is in America right now. Like, who am I to think that something like that is even within my grasp? And so like part of me wants to give up. Not like, that sounds like a really depressing thing, but this is like giving up on a fantasy that's like so lofty it makes sense to give up. It's like when a 5-year-old kid says like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a unicorn. And then when they're 10, they're like, wait, that was a completely ridiculous prospect. I don't want to be a unicorn anymore. I want to be a doctor, something that's much more in reach. So anyway, the reason I'm making these lazy KH videos is because that fantasy may never happen, but what is a good close second goal is just that my ideas at least make it out somewhere. So, you know, if I talk about why I think college dorm life has a lot of benefits over the suburban white picket fence life, even if I never actually build what it takes to create that, you know, maybe some people can resonate, and that will like slightly, ever so slightly push the needle, so that like someone else like down the road who is more successful can help bring part of my vision into their vision. And then like, you know, the college dorm thing, I kind of talked about why I think that's good in the video that's like bikes versus cars, or I think I called it like just one more lane, bro. So I'm not going to go into the details about that. But yeah, like I think what I am just thinking is like getting 1 million or even 10 million views on a YouTube short that's like brain rot slop is just so inconsequential. Like it could even gain you 50,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, given the way that YouTube shorts work. But it feels so inconsequential in the real world. Like it doesn't even like enable that you will be able to kind of bring this person, like these viewers, into your community and like kind of get them in on the same message as you. And like I guess like the first step a lot of content creators think about is like monetizing their audience, which I mean, like that's not the main reason to create, but like, yeah, you can have a YouTube short with 10 million views and not be able to even sell like 2 products to the audience, because out of those 10 million, not a single one of them is a passionate fan who believes in the vision. But like, if you talk about some project and even like it gets 2 views, but one of those 2 views is someone who has a lot of resources or like really commits to your vision and like wants to join your team, and then they're willing to like move in or like get enrolled in a paid position to do the work it takes, then like that's a lot more valuable, right? Even if the view count is 2 versus the 10 million. And so I guess I'm hoping that even though these videos might get like 3,000 views, like those are higher quality views in a way. This kind of reminds me of something that like I actually didn't like, which is one of my friends said, you should start posting on LinkedIn more. And I'm like, I don't like LinkedIn because I think it's too corporate and people are always bragging about their lives, about like how much money they're making or how professional they are, and I just don't like it. But they did point out that like on LinkedIn, sure, you won't ever have access to tens of millions of viewers, but you could get like 1,000 likes on a really good post, and several of those likes will be CEOs of big companies or I don't know, just people willing to take risks on you. And it's like, we don't like rich billionaire CEOs who are like accruing all the wealth and exacerbating the wealth inequality in the US. But I'm sure there's some people in that mix who are like, A, not unethically greedy, but are B, like, do have resources to help, and also C, willing to take the risk, willing to take the jump. Because I think that's the biggest thing that's hard in this world, and once you're an adult, is that a lot of projects require multiple people to cover all the aspects of it. But most people are tied up with a job, and the more time they take away from their 9 to 5 job, the more likely they are to be fired, which is like the worst thing that could happen. So you have a lot of people who are like, oh my God, Carrie, that's so cool. I want to be part of this project, or like, I want to go on this trip with you, or I want to help animate for you, but I have this job that like takes all my time and I'm just like, I have no energy for that. And I can't even like lower my hours or else I get fired. And I think like that's another video, I think within Jack and Jellyfy, we're kind of like growing a team of people. And it's kind of funny because the people I end up hiring are the people who are between jobs, or like maybe never got a job out of college or didn't go to college. And a lot of my adult mentor figures, when I first hired these people, they're like, why are you hiring so-and-so? They're a bum who couldn't find a job and like don't really have any skills. But then I think to myself, the people that you think I should hire, like the ones you look up to, the ones who have jobs. So like they're too busy to really commit to Jack and Jelly full time. And I think that's like the weird caveat about adult life that doesn't exist in kid or teenager life, which is that you have to, for most people, you commit to like one project and one project only, the company you work for. And it's like a shame that you have to either completely jump ship and like perhaps lose your biggest opportunity for financial stability, or you stay shackled to one company forever, the golden handcuffs. And what I think about like in teenager life, like where you're part of a lot of clubs in high school, you can be part of the anime club and maybe help them organize anime watch parties and events. And you can also be part of the robotics club and learn how to build robotics. And I think it's a lot healthier to have like multiple communities in your life that or even like jobs, like tasks. Like maybe you're the treasury of the math Olympiad club. Like if you have multiple, then if you get fired from one, it's not the end of the world. But you can also like, if you have 3 positions, you can reasonably take on a 4th, and it increases your workload by 33%, which is not like as life and backbreaking as increasing it by 100% by getting a second job. I just think that, that would allow a much more natural kind of ebb and flow of like tasks, and I could hire someone to help with BFDI animations because it's just a smaller part of their workload. And I'm not saying like, oh, everyone should take 3 or 4 jobs. I'm just thinking that I wish there's more diversity and like variety in people's lives, so that like it wasn't such a big clunk when someone like loses a job, and then whoop when they gain a job. It's more like oh, it's kind of like slowly moving up and down, and I'm drifting away from that community. I'm drifting into this one. Rather, yeah, I think you get the idea there. So I guess that I'm kind of rambling. Also, I just showered, so part of me is like, I'm recording this video to clear out my voice so that when I voice act for the next BFDI episode, like it's not sounding like I just woke up. So there's that there. But I am rambling, but it is my birthday, so like this is most of all a birthday video. So I know like most of the content are gonna be like, happy birthday, Carrie. So I have gotten quite a few birthday wishes already. So thank you to all of my friends and family who have wished that. And also it's Michael's birthday too. So happy birthday to Michael. We are 28 years old, which means that it has been exactly a decade since I became an adult, legally speaking, which is crazy because that means people born a decade later than me now are legal adults. And I feel like it kind of makes sense though, because March 18th, 2015 does feel like ages ago. That's like a time when I had no idea how to even like buy things with a credit card because I had never had one. Um, so yeah, it's also a perfect number, 28 as a factor of primes, or not factor of primes. Well, it's divisible by 1, 2, 4, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 4, 7, and 14, which I believe add up to 28 itself. So that's what makes it perfect. So that's cool. Um, uh, yeah. So basically, I'm just gonna spew my goal and my dream, or like my birthday gift for the next year, being a 28-year-old now, is just to kind of talk with people on Lazy KH more, um, about this sort of vision of a real life place where 16-year-old me could have felt supported. The younger content creators may be in my position. Another thing I'll point out is like student athletes. One thing I was gonna say is, like, elders will tell me like, oh well, you're doing YouTube and none of us know what that is, and like, shouldn't you be enough self-sufficient to motivate yourself and figure it all out on your own because you want to be a self-made entrepreneur anyway? But my point is like, look at student athletes, or it's like, if you do YouTube, how do you have time to do schoolwork, or how do you have time to have the job? Well, student athletes, like, we as a society have accepted the idea that people who are good at athletics should be supported with coaches and mentors and physical therapists to do athletics while also doing schoolwork, and neither's really getting like pushed off the table. Like, there are some sacrifices in that student athletes probably take lighter course loads, and maybe don't get to advance athletically as fast as someone who goes pro and doesn't, like, focuses all the time on training. But like, there's still a lot of student athletes like at Stanford. I know they got accepted earlier to the school as freshmen than non-athletes like me, which I have certain opinions about. But yeah, my point is like, oh, if you think that someone working on their own thing means that they shouldn't have mentors because they're like building their own path, like, I still think having any mentor along the way who's just older and has done something similar, even if not exactly the same thing, is helpful. Like Simone Biles, she's the best gymnast to ever exist. Her coaches maybe were gymnasts when they were younger, but they weren't as talented as she was. But she still needs those coaches to like watch over her, and if she like strains her ankle, maybe they can give her guidance on like whether it's smart to like heal or push harder, all those things. I just think it's like, just because I did a project that no adult before me had done exactly in the same way doesn't mean I'm not allowed to have mentors. Yeah, and like, I think that not having mentors isn't just a matter of like, oh, that's a little inconvenient and maybe a little lonely. I really think that not having mentors cost me multiple years of flailing and like losing an entire, livable salary because I didn't know how to stand up for myself and like reach out to YouTube when I wanted my AdSense unbanned, or like know how to pay people because I thought like paying people was unethical or like not right for me as a teenager. Like, I don't know, like, there's all these things where it's like, this isn't just about like, oh, I don't know, certain things in life are things to complain about but are relatively innocuous. Like, oh, when I stand up too fast, my vision gets all fuzzy. Isn't that annoying? Yeah, that's like an inconvenience. But I think not having a mentor is on such a different scope from that. It's like literally losing years and years of salary, but also like losing the creative vision that makes life worth living. Like being able to tell your own story. That I'm just like, this is not just me trying to make life a little more pleasant. This is me trying to build a life that I wanted when I was younger. And that's why it's so important to me. And that's why like everyone's like, why are you dedicating so much time to these zero ping retreats to make more friends and make more networking? It's, and like I lose money on setting up these retreats, which there's been like 2 of, by the way, so it's like not that many. It's because like I think I believe in these sort of real world connections more than I believe in, just getting a ton of views, which I feel like I've already like done. Like I feel like You know, BFDI already has like 2 billion views. It's like if I had a dream of what massive YouTube views could get me, like if I haven't gotten there yet, what number would be the number of views that it would take for me to feel like that is an avenue? Like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, if I want a real life opportunity from large view counts, like, I think that's already happened. And since I, if there are goals I still have not reached, I need to get them a different way, basically. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is the birthday thing. So, I will say my birthday was fun because over the last weekend, I went to a cubing competition in Tijuana, Mexico. And I know I'm going to a lot of cubing competitions, but it is my, like, main number one hobby. And that was a couple days before my birthday, and I did not expect it, but some of my friends, like American friends who went to Tijuana, as well as the Mexican cubing community, actually like threw this like surprise birthday party for me, which I was like, oh my gosh, this is like totally unexpected, and I was very grateful because this is the first time I've had a multilingual like happy birthday song sung to me. Like I didn't even know Spanish, so I was very heartwarmed by that. You know, I'm wearing a shirt that says "Con Amor," which think means with love. So it's like very fitting that I'm saying heartwarmed. So it was like already I think I had a really nice birthday that has been unlike any birthday before. So even if this birthday is not as, or today is not as exciting, there already was excitement. And by the way, the competition had happened at El Trompo in Tijuana, which means the top, because it's a interactive science museum for kids, I guess. But the whole thing is about spinning. So there's a spinning spiral staircase, and there's a lot of physics experiments you can play with where you like spin water around, or you spin these like mobiles around and like learn about physics and all that. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And that's for my cubing channel though. I did get some PRs, but that's for my cubing channel. So thank you for watching. And thank you for all the birthday wishes. Here's to a great 29th year on Earth for me and Michael. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm almost 30. But yeah, hopefully I'll make more videos on Lazy KH because I do enjoy this more authentic version of me. You know, I'm not performing in a super goofy, kiddie way. I'm actually talking what I'm feeling like inside. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.